Good evening, good evening, good evening. It's the show that's going to follow in the same footsteps as the Joe Button podcast, Pieces and Marrows, and now Nat Hoffa. That's right, Cavemen. Fire good. What's good, fellas? What's good?
Oh man, I'm ready. I'm ready today. Oh, I'm ready. I'm ready.
We got the great one, the villain, and of course, the blackest Adam of them all. Man, life's good. How about for you?
Now you
Life is
say you the
lovely.
blackest Adam.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said it.
You got
The
a
black.
chunked up white man's mask on your face.
Oh my Jesus! Don't do that.
It's
Don't
okay.
don't come with that. Don't come with that tonight. We're not doing that tonight, but we're doing it.
It's okay. I mean, everybody wear a mask. I mean, everybody wants to
Oh,
fight.
okay.
I mean, at least he wasn't Jeffrey Dahmer.
Uh,
Why? What's wrong with Jeffrey Dahmer? He like black people. We should all be
let's
praising
get on with
him.
the show.
Y'all
He
like
Mm.
him.
he he was he's
What's the
also
difference between him and Jeff? What's the difference between Jeffrey Dahmer and Umar Johnson? Nothing. They
one.
both ate. They both ate from the plate of black people and didn't give nothing back. Bars. Yo. So did we see the Black Adam movie?
I loved it.
Boo. Boo.
You're disrespectful.
Okay. So since
Said that wasn't
since
about the
we
movie.
already got a we already got a boo in here. What did you like about the Adam?
Huh?
What did you like about it?
I like the black Adam.
Yeah.
Mm.
You're a sellout.
Still what?
You're a sellout for that.
I'm still out for what?
For not liking Black Adam, but I
I said I didn't
guarantee
like it.
Oh,
No,
okay.
the boo
I'm
wasn't for
sorry.
the Black Adam. It was for that lame joke he just told about the difference between Umar Johnson and Jeffrey Dahmer.
I mean, they both eating off people, and they both have gay allegations.
Hello?
Oh.
Oh, your internet, my internet's going acting up, but we're chopping up.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay. Well, go ahead. What you got to say about Black Adam?
I liked it. I liked it. It was an interesting story. Now, and as everybody says, when it comes to the canon or continuity of a whole universe or whatever, it's gonna be interesting how it puts it. How he's gonna put it together. Like you said, the only thing that brought it together was, the reference in the end, really. They claimed there was other Easter eggs throughout the movie, but I never could. I was still trying to look and figure it all out. But okay. The only, like I said, the only thing was, like I said, was Amanda Waller in the beginning, and in the end, and then the appearance of Mr. You Know Who, how they call him Big Blue.
Yeah.
You whack and he whack.
Damn, you call
He real
Superman
whack.
whack?
As a black person, I don't see how you like Superman. To be honest with you, but I don't want to talk about that right now.
Superman is the man, homie.
And what black person is that goody two shoes? Y'all, no. We ain't doing that. Don't act like I can't stand people talking about this. Black people should not like Superman. One, he's all American. Black people don't even like America. Second of all, ain't none of us that good. Like, come on, y'all be acting like Superman. Man, all right. I get it. Y'all want your white savior. I understand.
Everyone got to him.
That's what he is, though. Think about it. He's what every white man wants to be.
Yeah. You say we're talking about black people, though. What does black people want to be like him? Is what?
How many black people run around with Superman tattoos? I'll wait. But when Black Panther came out, I was saying, everyone was joking. I'm not gonna talk about that. I like the movie but actually the movie was perfect in my opinion because Black Adam he's a lot like T'Challa. He don't really care about what's going on in the other world. He only cares about what's going on in Wakanda. So I can't be mad about it. I mean, he is a standalone character. He only beat with that boy Shazam, and Shazam if we really want to be honest, had they not had those copyright infringements, Superman would be second best to Black Adam. I mean, Superman would not be as big as popular as if it wasn't for Shazam having those copyright.
What you guys say, my son? What you guys say, sir?
Superman's an alien.
I mean, we also talk about fictional characters here too, so I get that. But he looks like a white man, so therefore he gets the white man treatment.
Oh, yeah, that's the case. Black Adam look white.
Oh,
He's
He
the
do.
whitest Egyptian I ever seen in my life.
He's like okay in the cartoon movies. He looks
And look
very
at and he has the white person hairline.
oh.
But we ain't gonna talk about that.
I mean, he is Egyptian.
No, you ain't see no Egyptian with that hairline. I've been to Egypt. We ain't gonna go there. That man white. He with the gods of Egypt. The all white cast.
We're not gonna talk. We're not gonna do that tonight.
I think it's already happening, buddy.
Black Adam was a all right movie that fell into the same category with all DC movies.
I
Stick to
thought it was.
making cartoons, homie.
I
Mm.
can't argue with that. I can't argue with that. I wish if they would have did a Black Adam movie, I wish they would have did it based on when he came and fought Billy Batson. That probably would have been the best way to do it. To be honest with you,
That's why it doesn't make sense because you didn't even mention Shazam at all. Like you
but they did
literally
though.
Now,
There was a kind of overlapping. If you watched the end of second Shazam, they were like, "Who's that third seat?" And that was supposed to be the hint for Black Adam.
no, I
Like
understand that in
oh,
Shazam, but however, because Shazam has already made the leap into a second movie to have a Black Adam movie and not even have Shazam in it at
well,
whatsoever, kind of
remember though, remember it kind of links that in the beginning where he speaks of the different gods of that time that he or figures deities he put together to make the Black Adam. That was the only real connection it's shown to that story.
right with
And the
that,
reason why
yeah,
he,
with the
yeah,
wizard.
yeah, the
but okay,
wizard, yeah, the wizards.
Right, and then the
yeah,
last wizard that was saved, that was standing, was the wizard that gave Shazam his power. So
Right.
that part, but when you think about the whole movie, it's like as a standalone movie, it's a good movie. I'm not going to dispute that. Can it resurrect DC? No, it can't
okay.
because you have to build everything around it now, and you already done
So,
set in place the two Shazam movies.
so the problem with this is, okay, I understand where everybody's coming from. Here's the problem with comic book movies. What they should have done if they were smart and just didn't worry about people who don't know anything about it. Well, they should have dropped Black Adam versus Shazam, and then did his origin story second. But
Oh, okay.
because I mean, that would have piqued
Yeah,
more interest. If they would have did the first movie, they're like, oh, well, who is Black Adam? Because he beat up Superman. Who is he? A lot of times they should have stuck to the comic book method, introduce the character, get popularity, and then turn around and give you their backstory instead of giving you the backstory. Like you double back and then you're trying to move forward. So you're basically shooting yourself in the foot.
Right. And at the end, I get, and this is why I said for me, the Amanda Waller and Superman kind of, if you pay attention, it kind of throws everything off because it's like you have Shazam, a whole magical person that you skipped and went straight to Superman. It's like, okay, we know how Amanda Waller rolls. So what do you have on Superman? So now you got us thinking that Superman done did some horror that you done got on camera. Because we know how Amanda
mm,
Waller get down.
A lot, and I love Amanda Waller. I love her. I married
So
her.
so we already know how she get down. So if she got something on, if she could make
you better the
Superman
one from
get
the
there,
movie.
then Superman done got caught with some cocaine and hookers.
No. What did Amanda Waller say? My skill is making people do things that they don't want to do. That's against their own best interest. She said, "Hey, Superman, I know you want to live, whatever, but he's an issue. If you want to continue to live like this, you might want to go check this issue."
Nah,
Her
she
thing
don't
is,
roll like that. She got something
yes,
on
you do.
Superman.
Come on now.
She got something.
She don't have to have nothing on anybody. She has the ability to make people do things against their own self interest. Superman probably didn't want to do anything with it, but she made Superman understand that if he's doing this here, imagine what he's going to do when he comes to America. Her ability is to make people see things the way she wants to see them, whether it's by force, by manipulation. And I love her.
Like I said, she caught Superman with some hookers. It's okay. I'm cool with it. But here's the other issue. I don't mind the Justice Society. However, you have never mentioned the Justice Society within the DC universe as far as the movies. And it's like, okay, where they been? Even in the movie, it referenced the fact that no superhero has come to that particular country to save it. And it's like, at some point, you have to say, that's impossible unless you purposely cut them out. So
Well,
now all of a
no.
sudden you have the Justice Society who exists, where you have the Justice League. And even in the comic books, they really didn't overlap.
Well, because like you got to
The
think about
one was a precursor.
the Justice League and the Justice of America, they don't overlap. There's actually like even in the comic books, it's kind of a handy wavy thing. Like, oh yeah, they were in the '60s, but people forgot about them, and now we have the like. It's kind of a handy wavy thing that they did. Like, people forgot about them, but they're still here, but nobody really talks about them. It's one of those weird things like that.
No, I get that. And then some. Then it's like at one point I thought they wasn't even on this continuity. They was in another universe. So to have them all together, which I had no problem with. That's why I said Black Adam could have been a standalone. Because if you use that with the Justice Society, you could have built a whole franchise off of that. But now you're trying to loop them in to
Now,
everything else.
if they wanted to loop everything in, what they should have did was this: they should have ended the movie when Black Adam was chilling. One of them was like, "Hey, there's a guy that looks just like
So
you, but he's got a red suit on," and then that would have set everything off.
what?
If they would have had somebody come up to him and say, "Hey, you're that guy Shazam," and he's like, "I'm not Shazam, I'm Black Adam." He's like, "No, but you look just like him," and showed him a video of Shazam and the family, and then that would have set it up better.
Okay, I agree with that. That could have worked out better.
Because then now you've already set up, because in the comic books it's Shazam versus Black Adam versus Superman and Shazam versus Black Adam, because if you watch the comic book movie, Black Adam just give both of them the business.
Yeah, he
He
did.
did. And honestly, I will say this much: if DC wanted to save a lot of money, they would just stick to the comic book movies, because their cartoon movies are so much better.
Yeah,
Oh,
I agree.
okay. Yeah, some of the animated, animated.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like that Dark Knight, was it whatever it is, Dark Apocalypse? That thing was phenomenal.
Yeah. That whole build up to that was great. And then the Shazam and Black Adam. But even if you even reference that as using that as kind of like the formula, who summoned Black Adam back to Earth?
The woman. Well, okay, so they did a new 52 version of him. Instead of saying he got cast out 5,500 light
Right.
years away to come back. What they should have done was, instead of doing Superman, they should have kept saying, "Hey, aren't you Shazam?" And he should have been getting annoyed, like, "I'm not Shazam. Who is Shazam?" And they should have had him sitting in front of a TV at the end of the movie, seeing Shazam, and him getting really mad, being like, feeling betrayed. Because what you want to do is you want people to sympathize with Black Adam, being like, he thought he was the only one. He thought he was special. Now he realizes he's not special. Now he's vengeful.
Right, I agree.
Because the best villain is the best type of villain is somebody that you can sympathize with. And the best way to put somebody sympathize with him is saying, "Oh, he thought he was special, but then he found out he wasn't special. He was just a blip on the radar for what they were trying to do." That's how you make a good villain is somebody that you can actually empathize with.
I agree 100%. But
Why do you
that's
think everybody like
why
Thanos? Thanos was a dude who was just trying to save the world the best way he knew how. Which, as a
was
human being,
way different than the comic book.
yeah, I know he was really. This was just a Tuesday for him.
But see,
But yeah,
that's why when you look at Black Adam, you could say it was a good movie. However,
yeah.
it just because they throw a black person in there don't mean we have to like it.
Now, I did have an argument with my brother about black comic book characters, and we argued because they was like, everybody needs about Black Panther, but I was like, we've had 3 other movies before that. 2 were, one was mediocre, one was a box office success, and the first one was kind of You had Meteor Man, you had Spawn, you had
Hitch, not Hitch, Hancock.
no, I'm gonna consider Hancock. Meteor Man, Steel, Spawn, Blade, and then you got Wakanda.
Right.
So I mean, the most successful ones were Spawn and Blade, even though they kind of hand wave Blade. To be honest with you, they're like, there's a cartoon movie, but it's not. I'll put that one in the same genre as Constantine, where it was a comic book movie, but nobody really knew it.
Right.
Because you can kind of put Blade as just a vampire movie, and you can put Constantine as a horror movie, and not really put the whole DC universe. What, to be honest with you, they did a good job with Constantine, even though he wasn't English and he was an American, and there was some hand wavy things that they did with him that was kind of weird.
Right. But like I said, at the end, it was a movie. I mean, I would like to see how they fit everything together within the next 10 years. If they could do it like Marvel did it, if they use this to reset it, cool. I'm all with it. And I just want to see how they're going to reset it.
I don't know how they're gonna reset it, but they're gonna have to reset it.
Yeah, they got to now because you introduce them. Then you introduce them as a anti-hero, which is no problem. I have no issues with that, but now we have to see how you fit them into the main, especially since you already brought the big gun. I mean, you already done brought Superman.
I think he's gonna take over into the game.
Oh, and yeah.
I can see that.
I have a question. I know y'all seen the picture of Rogue floating around. Of Rogue being portrayed by whatever her name
Palmer.
is. Yeah, I'm gonna
I
say
have
something. I'm gonna say something that's gonna be controversial. I don't want to see
in
it.
that outfit.
I don't want to see it. I don't want to see her play a Rogue.
Why?
Because I mean, and God, I hate saying this. I really do. But this is my comic book personality. I'd rather see if you're gonna change your character's race, change somebody's race that is a little is unknown. Don't mess with the big ones because then they're gonna say it's too woke, and I just want to watch the movie and enjoy it. I don't want all the political issues. Like, let Xavier be a bald white man. He does not need to be a black man. I'm sorry. Like, I want to see a bald white man as Xavier.
You did.
See,
you have.
But I mean, that's the comic book. I'd rather put it to stay true to the comic books in that respect.
And they've been there and done that twice.
It doesn't matter. I want to continue to see it that way. It's me.
Guess what? They're not going.
If they, I mean, I'm not gonna be mad if they do, and I'm not gonna be mad if they don't. But I also like, I get it. You want to, you kind of, I mean, it's kind of
be Korean.
Especially if you're trying to do like the 616 version or whatever version they're doing, he gotta be a white man. Now, if they want to put Magneto as black, I might be like, that makes more sense.
Oh, so now Magneto got to be the black one, but it can't be
no,
Xavier.
It will make more sense. But either way, I still want to.
So he's got to be the negative one. He got to be the bad guy. The black guy's gonna be the villain has to be the black guy.
Oh no, don't get it twisted. Because to be honest with you, if they did a pass with a black man, then every black man will be mad. Oh well, we got to be
that case. We
can
make Wolverine Vietnamese. That case,
he need to be a Canadian. Like if you're gonna do it right, they need to make.
He need to be Vietnamese Canadian. See,
look, Wolverine needs to be all the 5'2", 5'3", and a Canadian.
See, and Vietnamese. There you go.
No, I don't want to see him Vietnamese. I'm sorry. There's another issue. So,
hello.
Me and my brother talked about it, and I know everybody loves Luke Cage, right?
Yeah.
Everybody, and I'm kind of glad that they cut Luke Cage out when they did. And I don't want them to bring him back. I don't want them to bring him back.
Wow.
I don't. Because I know black people are going to be so mad if they unfolded the way they're supposed to.
Right, because he marries Jessica Jones and has a baby.
Oh, yeah, come on now. He did all the black empowerment. Then he married a white woman. Oh, that's
But that's in style now.
I mean, that's not in style, but like,
Yes, it
no,
is.
No.
What TV show right now shows you a full black couple?
I mean, I don't really care about that because I date white women. I date everybody. So I mean, I
But
ain't
see,
really.
that's what I'm saying. That so it's already in style. I mean, and there
But
TV shows that show a full black couple.
but like yeah, but you know how people is. Like my son, let's not even play games. When it comes down to that, they're going
We passed that
some
now.
dumbass Umar will come out. See, they try to push this narrative, and I'm like, no, they're not trying to push a narrative. You you have to kind of stay true to the context of these books. Yet
Now,
again,
see, you
comic
can't say that, and then after we just talked about how Black Adam has a black Carter Hall who's acting black in Louisiana.
they
Hey,
So,
you know he's
they
from Jacksonville. You know he's from Jacksonville, North Carolina, by the way.
they
and he's actually a
they
good actor. I like him. Matter of
no,
fact,
he is.
I named my
But
son Adonis.
I do, yeah, I like that. But like, okay, to be fair,
Mm.
with that one is that one okay with Hawkman that was there was room for that to happen.
No, you can't say that.
Yeah,
You cannot say that.
I
That's
can
not
say
a
that. Yes, I
fair.
can.
You know you can't. You're justifying one and condemning the other when it's we either gonna have it all or we're not gonna have none at all.
No, but hear me out though.
Either we're gonna have Kiki Palmer as Rogue or we're gonna have Hawkman as the white
Mm.
guy that he's supposed to
No,
be.
no. Can you hear me out though? Can you hear me
No.
out though? I know you're not. I know you're not gonna hear me out. I know you're not gonna hear me out. But hear me out though. The reason why it works, I'm gonna tell you why it worked for me because he's reincarnated every time. So that they gave them the ability for me to be like, okay, he's always reincarnated. He reincarnated as a black man this time. If they did it again and he was a white man, I would have been fine with that. Because he had the ability to reincarnate to different people. That gives me a little bit of suspended belief. Mine is you taking a woman role who is clearly Louisiana white woman. Yeah, it's too handy wavy for me. That's a little too much. Like I'm just saying. I think she would do a great job. Don't get it twisted. I'm not saying she wouldn't do a great job, but I'm saying,
Enemies.
oh my Jesus, we're not doing no fucking Vietnamese.
Okay. Polynesian, that better?
I'm not answering that question. I'm not gonna do that.
Oh,
You
Cambodian, you know.
no, not. I mean, I'm about to say something. I'm about to say something real reckless.
No,
She
let's
got.
not be reckless. Let's not be reckless, sir. Let's be
I'm about to say she gotta be thick though. I ain't gonna lie. Roll gotta be thick.
okay. There you go. You
Kiki
know.
Palmer did.
But like she gotta be thick and she gotta have a blunt.
She got the blonde. I seen the picture. She got the little blonde streak in her hair. I mean,
That's what I'm saying. You know,
I seen
But
the
then,
pictures. I mean,
but then, but
typical
then,
black woman stuff. You know.
but then my argument is, then somebody I feel like somebody will say, well, we need to make Storm black. We need to make Storm white.
Okay.
it's gonna happen.
Fuck out of here.
You know, she
I,
should be a medium built white woman.
she's from
So
South Africa, then, right?
you know what?
Yeah.
South Africa.
Actually, hey, Charlene, was it on Charlene Theron? She black. She's African.
She's South African. There's a
South
difference.
African. It's on the
But
continent
you
of
know what? Okay,
Africa.
we can do that. We can do that because T'Challa's dead, so we ain't gotta worry about Storm and T'Challa.
She's
So
more
go ahead.
African than any of us.
She blacker than you.
Okay.
Nah, it ain't. Yeah. So I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, we repping Africa. And she like y'all ain't
Let's
even
come
seen
to.
No,
the continent.
I'm not repping Africa. I'm representing Detroit. I ain't gonna lie.
But here's my thing.
Oh Lord, here we go.
If
Yeah, I said it.
I don't mind the changing
Do you
of the
represent your
colors.
black community in Detroit, or you just represent yourself in Detroit?
I represent myself and my family.
Which is part of the black community.
All right, I'll tell you that.
Oh man. So I have a question for you.
Mm.
So when it gets to that point where they're saying, hey, you know what? We want an all-white cast for Wakanda. Are you against that?
Yeah,
So what?
Why?
it's too far off. It's too far off.
Too late. We're past that.
No,
What's
we're
that?
not.
If they want an all-white cast for Wakanda in 10 years,
No, that wouldn't even make sense. It's
see,
too far off.
you can't say it won't make sense.
Yes, I
It's not
can.
about making sense.
Well,
Yes, it
shoot,
is.
hey, at one point they were about to do a Harriet Tubman movie, and Julia Roberts was gonna be Harriet Tubman.
I don't believe that shit. I don't believe that.
They made a Gods of Egypt with an all-white cast. They made
They
I
sure
knew that.
did.
I knew
Casablanca
that
with
was
an
gonna bomb.
all-white cast. I mean,
Okay,
let's keep
so
it real. They
funny
made
story.
movies with
Funny
all-white
story.
cast.
Funny story. So I was in the car with Webb, and I remember I was driving with Webb, and I remember looking it up. I heard about the movie, and I read who was in it. I was like, "Oh, this is about the bomb. Y'all wasted y'all money." I knew. I was like, "You might have been able to pull this off in the early '90s, but the Hemotaps, the Hotap boys, and the Israelites, they was not having that." I was like, "Nah, this y'all doing it way too much."
Okay, the whole taps, yeah, okay, and the Israelites, yeah, I can
Yeah,
see
they was
that.
like, I ain't gonna lie to you, like you could have pulled that off in the early
So,
'90s.
okay, so how do you feel about the whole Little Mermaid
Yeah, being black.
being black? Yes, because there is a lot of controversy, and like I said, the movie's being
Yeah,
advertised. It's coming out this summer, next summer.
And remember, Cinderella became black. My question is, when does it end?
Ooh.
And this is why I tell people
Well,
that door swings both ways. And I think that's the problem as black people. We don't want the
so
door to swing both ways, but it's going to swing both.
no,
so
because for one, but when you talk of something that's culturally connected, something like a Black Panther, that's what I think. Hopefully, that's one reason
my son,
Yeah.
supposed to
he broke.
have and its origins. Hopefully, that's one of the reasons. In a sense, even though Cinderella is a Euro, I say a Eurocentric type story. Understand? So they don't want to always show it in a certain light, a one, you know what I'm saying?
I
A
get
one
what
light
you're
spectrum.
saying, but
Right.
we got to put the cards on the table.
Yeah,
Wakanda gonna be
he broke.
all women in the next 10 years,
We already got that movie. We already got that movie.
and it's
Remember
gonna be
Woman King?
all white. It's gonna be all white in 20 years because
All white women, all white women in the Woman King?
yeah, it's gonna be all and we have to accept that.
No, we
There's no
won't.
more
Nobody's,
continuity.
nobody's gonna watch that, for one.
Why?
Because
Yeah,
listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what
You
I'm saying.
here's my
You
thing
trying to
is
you trying to
you
rewrite a whole culture and a whole, you know what I'm
yeah.
saying? You not, yeah. Think about it. Think about it.
so let me get this straight because y'all have this blind sense of what you think not going to happen. You hold on to that instead of saying look at how things are happening and not realizing that it's going to swing both ways. It doesn't matter about culture. Y'all
I see what
holding
you're
on to
saying.
culture, but
Well,
culture
It's a
doesn't
possibility.
matter.
It's a possibility, but it's not.
nah, fuck
Look,
that. It ain't a
who
goddamn possibility.
Just because you don't
because
think it's a possibility doesn't mean it's not going to be a possibility.
who's gonna watch an all white Black Panther or a white woman king movie?
Are you serious? Are we? Do we not
Well,
realize?
okay.
Like,
Well, I mean,
let's
I
not
mean, we
pretend.
are.
Let's not pretend like there is
Now
not a
wait.
section of
Hey
Now
man,
wait.
look,
people that
hey,
will
Now wait.
not.
you
Now wait.
run
Wait.
around with those.
If they wanted to do a Woman King movie, and there was a bunch of Scottish women who was running warriors, I, I'm okay with that.
Wonder Woman.
I don't want to talk about Wonder Woman. I really don't. I really
But I
don't.
mean, that's supposedly because Wonder Woman. So
Wonder Woman got a lot of
you already had
issues.
that movie. You've already had that movie, Wonder
My
Woman.
question is this. My question is this about Wonder Woman. How they keep reproducing?
Well, Wonder Woman was
Hey,
created by the gods.
that's where Amanda Waller and that sex tape with Superman comes in.
Oh my fucking God. Listen, if they want to do a movie, if they really want to do a movie that's gonna smash out of, they need to do Injustice. If they did an Injustice movie, I would watch that
Yeah,
through and through.
but
But
I
that's
would.
probably what they're leading
Okay,
to.
so let me get that. Let me answer your question though. Back to the whole thing. It's not saying it's nothing that could be done, but I don't. Hopefully, they don't expect for it to do serious numbers. Like, say, if you turn around and flip the the storyline and the cast having to be all Caucasian. You know, like say you're black, it's not gonna do the numbers or what because you think about it. you think about it. That's it.
Not to mention, if you want to be honest with you, if you want to see if a movie if a movie that you flip on its head a little bit, like look at when they did the black version, when they did the Fantastic Four with a black. Wasn't I thought it was a good idea, but the movie failed. Like when you go too far from the source material. Remember, comic book movies are based on the source material. When you go too far off the source material, that shit just doesn't work out.
Science.
I mean, if you don't believe me, look at the Fantastic Four. Every time they did it, that shit was whack. Shit was ass.
Damn, B.
Shit was ass. I'm not gonna sit over here and say this shit was ass. Like I ain't gonna lie to you. Shit was trash and it was ass. And it was
Which version of Fantastic Four?
the last one with
Michael B. Jordan?
Yeah, Jordan B. Johnson, whatever his name is. Shit was ass.
No, man, why you gonna talk bad about the Wallace in that movie, man?
Man, shit was the Doctor Doom was ass. Like that was they should have just stopped that shit. Like
hello,
can you hear me?
Yeah.
Doctor Doom, like, if you're gonna do Doctor Doom, he need to be arrogant and he need to be pompous. He need to be that nigga. Excuse me for calling him a nigga. He need to be like
damn, B.
Dr. Doom needs to be on his shit.
Taps in this joint.
Yeah, Dr. Doom need to be on his shit. I want him to be arrogant. I want him to be like, yo, I'm that dude. You ain't know. Not on some old. I'm trying to like. Honestly,
so you pick and choose when you want it to be authentic to the comic book.
No, I don't. No, I don't.
I want to be Chinese. I want to be Chinese.
No, I don't.
That's what I'm saying, and I think that's where the issue I'm having is that either we're going to do all the comic books or we not. It is what it is.
No, my son. Because I went, I went to go see that movie with B. Johnson, and I knew.
Okay,
so when
so look this. I'm gonna put a little unique challenge to this. 5 characters, gentlemen. 5 characters. Or Marvel. 5 characters. You can go away from their origins, ethnically, whatever, but it has to make sense. It has to make sense. That's my challenge, y'all. 5 characters, and make sure we put them out. Put on Rolando on too. 5 characters, you know. So it's not gonna be next record or whatever. So whenever time comes up for the assignment, hey, what's your answer? What do you got? And it has to make sense. You know, I know it's say outrageous stuff like, you know, Dr. Doom should be Chinese, but why would he be Chinese? You have to have an explanation of why he would be Chinese. What would make sense for him to be Chinese?
So think about that. Here's the issue with that. The problem with this is the problem with a lot of this.
Whoa. We're not gonna go that now. We're gonna do that now. We'll do this another time though. We'll do it another time. Yeah. We gotta go forth. So yeah, like I said, we'll take it another time though. But it's gotta make sense. But you know what I'm saying?
I got answers for your questions.
For instance,
I got answers.
We'll do it another time. Save it for another time. All right, let's go forward.
So Dwight, go ahead and go with your second topic of the evening.
Oh yeah, the leaders in the Black community, man. Fuck. Because you brought up Umar and you brought up Killer Mike.
Oh, you talking about in our group chat discussion?
Yeah.
I think Marshawn be hating on him. I think he wants to beat him.
Oh shit! Shots fired.
I don't think so.
I think the problem with Black people is that we feel as though we can't be criticized or we can't go to someone and tell them to show proof. And that's why we get in trouble with people using us and being scammed. That's why the Black church can collect billions of dollars off of us and still do nothing in our community. That's why you have all 50 million community groups that can get these grants and stuff and still have the highest crimes in their area. It's just that we don't question people. We don't question each other. It's nothing wrong with going to a person and saying, okay,
Well, no.
Dr. Umar Johnson, you have not built your school in 20 years. What have you done with that money? Killer Mike, Atlanta still has the highest crime rate.
Well, no, wait.
Atlanta, hold
That ain't
up, let me
my
finish.
fault.
Let me finish. It
All right.
doesn't have to be his fault. And see, that's the problem. See, everybody want to just say, oh, it's his fault. I'm not saying it's his fault. What I'm saying is that you start with your community first. See, the
But
problem
it's not his community anymore, though.
hold on,
It's not his
no,
community.
we're not gonna do that. Let me
Who
finish.
is?
We're not gonna do that. The problem that y'all have is you pick and choose who you like and you stand for them, and when you should be questioning.
Well,
Killer Mike,
no, because
hold up, no, because Atlanta
Well,
has
damn.
black
That's why didn't
officials.
nobody talk, man.
No, because I haven't finished my statement. Atlanta
all
has
right.
black officials. Killer Mike stands with these black officials, and yet you telling me that you still can't get reparations in Atlanta, in Georgia, period, past? What is
Well,
Stacey Abrams running on? Nope, let me finish. What is Stacey Abrams running on? Killer Mike, T.I. Why y'all still have high crime rate? Why Young Thug still getting RICO charges? Why Jeezy? What's going on in y'all hoods? Hold on now, y'all want to be all black. Where does it start?
For
I
one,
need you to buy a condo in your hood when you're charging people. It's
no, you're wrong. You're
no, I'm
wrong.
not wrong. You see, the problem is
uh-oh,
that you like
uh-oh.
people and you don't want to accept the fact that they haven't shown anything. And there's nothing wrong with that. We like who
No,
we like.
No,
But
there is something wrong with that because you're bringing it up.
there's a whole lot wrong with your statement.
okay, first, what's wrong with it?
Oh, the biggest glaring thing and you were here for it. You was around when the migration happened, right?
What that got to do with anything?
A lot. Listen, in 2003, that's when the influx of people started coming in. I remember in 2003, that's when everybody, all the black people said, we want to move to Atlanta. Right?
Okay.
Atlanta didn't have these problems until outside people started coming in and making Atlanta bigger. Atlanta's a big city now, but Atlanta was really small and really homegrown.
Hold tight.
No, you're wrong, my son. You all the way wrong.
But you haven't said nothing yet.
Yes, I did.
No, all you said was, because these some black people aren't the same as the ones that are in Atlanta. Now that's the problem. That doesn't make sense. Because what you're saying is that it's as long as it's outside people, well, we don't count for them, which is a lie. What I'm saying is that if you claiming to be something, it starts in your neighborhood first. It starts in your household first.
But it ain't your neighborhood no more. Atlanta had one of the greatest influxes of people coming into that city.
That has nothing to do with that.
If you got murderers just like, when New Orleans flooded, Houston had all of them people from New Orleans coming in and the crime rate went up. When they realized they couldn't do what they did in New Orleans, they moved back to New Orleans. People in Atlanta moved to Atlanta for better opportunity and better situations.
So what you're saying is that we're just going to skip the fact that Atlanta is majority black on all fronts, to include with the police, and yet they still have what? What I'm saying is the fact that if you, instead of sitting up in here telling me everything you're going, show me what you have done in Atlanta. Atlanta should be the greatest example of a city like Baltimore, which is black, like Detroit, which is black. These should be examples of exemplary cities because of the influence that they have. However, these cities have crime out the yin, and they're mostly black to include city council.
But Detroit has an issue though that Atlanta doesn't have.
Everybody has an issue. Except everybody has an excuse.
No, you're not gonna do that. Let me tell you about Detroit. Detroit was based off of automotive, and when the automotive left, Detroit was already wild in the 90s and 80s. Let's not act like Detroit just became a crazy psychopath city. They was murdering niggas back in the 80s and the 60s. So
what's Chicago's issue?
Oh shit.
What's LA issue? So hey, let's just give everybody an excuse. And that's what's wrong. And that's what I'm saying with us. It's more of the excuse instead of the solution.
I don't know what the solution is.
You just gave
Okay.
excuses. Everything was an excuse instead of saying, you know what? What has been done? Let's see what's been done. If you standing in front of people claiming that you're standing for the community and you're getting grants and stuff, I should be able to make you show me your progress and make you show me what you have done. And that's where we need to be.
Well, okay, so let me step in so y'all, before y'all go back to arguing battle back and forth. For one, you do have you both very valid points, but we got to keep in mind if we're not if we're not being transparent, authentic, and guided properly, these are things that we end up seeing: the corruption, the Black Lives Matter situation, the Kwame Kilpatrick instance,
Yeah.
the mayor, the previous mayor of Atlanta, the mayors of Memphis. It's like I said, it's cool to say, oh, we have the first black this and the first black that. But if we're not, I think in a way, we see how things are done, but we end up with the ones, we end up being the ones with our hands caught in the cookie jar, as they say.
I agree
You
with
know,
you.
and you know, you're right. And like I said, we do. We provide. We. There's nothing wrong with checking each other. I believe we should, but also keep in mind we should not just check ourselves and try to put ourselves only ones on only feet in the fire. Because you think about, look at all these other groups that we talk about that we're not mentioning, like the Red Crosses, the United Ways, the Goodwills. Now, like you said, like we all know, these nonprofits, only a certain amount of the money they make actually has to go to the cause itself. You know, that's
They
right.
gotta, they gotta have money to keep.
So, but you think about it, and like I said, think about it. Look, think about LA, and not even it being a black issue. They actually have a area of LA for just homeless people.
Mm-hmm.
Homeless people.
Skid
They call
Row.
it
Skid Row.
Skid Row. And
Downtown
they said,
have that.
and you know, they put almost billions of dollars into fighting homelessness in LA.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, the word is majority of the money has gone to just running organizations too. More of the money has gone to the organizations running to do away with homelessness than actually dealing directly with homelessness. So, but for us, like I said, we need to start working it locally. But at the same time, we always need to continue to make sure we're being transparent and always make sure we're staying on the path because we lose sight. Honestly, we lose sight because you think about it. We like for instance, when we talked about the Black Lives Matter, it probably in the best intentions, it started in from the beginning. But the minute they said all this money coming in, they didn't know what to do with it. But
No,
you know
they
what?
knew what to do with it. They
No,
had
no,
a
no, no, no,
plan.
no, no. Listen to what I'm saying, though. Listen to what I'm saying. I'm not even talking about the when they start making the millions and millions, but even with just a little bit, or a few thousands of dollars coming in, you know, you're right. When it got to where they were making so much money to where they were paying for shopping sprees, and islands, and whatever they can think of, you're right. They were way off the path at that point. They realized look back, they came way off the path. You know, it was too late. It was way too late. You know, but like I said, we lose that sight. We get misguided. You know, we see the Red Crosses and whoever doing that, but at the same time, I had this discussion with somebody yesterday about that. It's like we look at it, we get looked at closer because of who we are, regardless of how the villain may feel about it. See, we do, we do. And tell me if I'm wrong, my Sean.
No, I agree. We do.
Right, and
We
this is
will
exactly
get
what we're
looked
talking
at
about now.
closer.
This is right, and this is what you're talking about now, and this is what you're discussing. It's like I said, we don't, and it should never be the excuse, but it's always going to be the answer. You know of what I just said. You know, we don't we always lack the proper guidance, proper direction when we get to a certain point.
Man, look, I don't want to hear that, man. I
We
don't want to
always
hear
lose
that
sight.
no more.
We do. I hate to say it, my friend, but we do. We do.
Man, listen.
The only person I can recall ever in history of our time that actually stayed in sight, I hate to say it, was the late great Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Tell me if I'm wrong, Sean Taylor.
Okay,
You're right.
okay.
You're right.
I can see between him and even Malcolm X when he
Right,
started,
exactly.
you saw
I
his
was about to say that.
transparency. Yeah,
I was about to say that would be my next thing. The next thing close to that was maybe a Malcolm X
yeah.
of America, and anybody else that come closer to that was probably your boy.
Medgar Evers. We're not gonna stop. We're not gonna not talk about Medgar Evers. I'm tired of this shit.
Medgar Evers. I'm not talking about Medgar Evers.
He's one of the top three. I don't understand why people don't want to give him his flowers. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That really irritated me. They all talk about Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. I'm like, what about the other M? There were 3 M's. Yeah, he got shot in front of his. All right, you know what? I'm gonna leave it alone.
You might as well say a fourth M, and you might as well say Bob Marley. You know.
No, Medgar was really.
Or the fifth one, you say Mandela.
I mean, Marcus Garvey.
Oh, you know, I'm a Marcus Garvey fan.
Yeah,
Are you a
that's what I was
Garveyite?
gonna say. Marcus Garvey.
You a Garveyite?
Before you cut me off with your Medgar Evers, I was gonna say Marcus
I
Garvey.
like Garvey, but what
Right.
you're saying is in our lifetime, unfortunately, some people didn't meet that. But if we looked at the sample size within the last 60 years, you do have Malcolm X and Martin Luther King for us.
Because you think about it you think about the time from when Martin Luther King, remember, because you had this schedule before my Sean, before he passed, but remember, the speech he was going to make before he got shot was going to be about what?
It was going to be about the unions and actually having more the money and everything and what was going on.
Yeah, economic. You wanted economic equality.
And he was supposed to deliver that in Wilmington, North Carolina.
Right. So
that shit.
That's where everybody fell off. Remember, we had a discussion. I think that's why I forgot my point when we had this discussion. Is I think that's what everybody is missing when they have that vision. You know, is the actual direction of what is the next step for us, as opposed to we getting billions of dollars, because they focus more on when the dollars start getting in the way of what you're seeing. You know, you see these cars, you see these islands, you see all this stuff that you can. You know, we lose focus. We lack it. You know, and that's just naturally what we do. You know, but that's just where we at. Unfortunately, they say with your Umar Johnson and what's your boy with the colors, museum.
Oh, you talking about Talib?
Yeah. Hey, you notice he was on that panel too. That I sent you on that video.
Yeah.
He was on that panel too. Crazy, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah. So I think as leaders, it'll take a Marshawn Taylor. It'll take a Dwight the villain. You know, somebody to come together and come to a united voice, even though they may be different voices, and say, hey, this is because somebody's got to get it right. Somebody's got to get it right. Regardless of how we may feel and think about it, somebody's got to eventually get it right and set the real example. Because the minute them 3 gentlemen or 4 or 5 gentlemen we mentioned passed away, somebody took that and did it for their own self.
That's fair.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what it is. Because if you think about it, they didn't think about it as myself of everybody. It's myself for everyone to achieve, to get to a certain point. You didn't think about it. Even Martin Luther King was talking. I ain't talking about just the black people himself. He was talking about everybody.
Like towards the end, that's correct.
Right. So you guys have that. Let's go from there.
All right, Dwight, go ahead.
I don't want a problem. I don't want a problem.
Go ahead, man.
You want no smoke?
I agree. I gotta agree with what you said, though. I gotta agree with what you said.
You do have a valid point, though. What you said.
I still feel like that. You know, at the end of the day, we need more than one leader. We need and.
I have a question before you finish that statement. I got a question. I'm gonna ask this, and I'm asking this to be honest. Who's the leader for the Asian community? Who's the leader for the Hispanic community? Who's the leader for the Caucasian community?
I was about to make a comment about that because that's the issue with us. We want to appoint a voice, but remember, you got the Aryan Nation, you got the white. I think it's Aryan Brotherhood.
Yeah.
Whatever you got, all of it. Regardless, these are different voices in a community. Regardless of how you want to look at a community. When it comes down to it, They'll come together and have a voice with many minds, but they'll still have a voice, a direction. And I think that's what we're missing because everybody wants to be that voice. Everybody thinks they have that one direction. Okay,
Right.
that's my.
Mm,
Come on, villain.
listen,
Give us something.
I agree, but at the same time, we need better understanding. We need more than one voice because every voice isn't being represented in the black community, and that's the issue.
But I don't think
Yeah,
everybody's going to be able to answer all the questions. So yes, you need a many voices. I agree.
but you know, even Dr. King, the problem with it is this, and I'm gonna keep it a bang. Dr. King and Malcolm X didn't agree on everything, but they were like, "Hey, we're doing this for the greater good of the black community." The problem with Dr. Umar and them, they're saying this is the only way we can do it. If we don't do it this way, then it's the only way. Instead of
But
saying,
but hold on, let me pause you on that
no,
though.
hear me out, though.
My Sean. No, hold what you thought. Now think about it. What you're saying is true to a certain extent, because in the long run, they kind of flip philosophies toward the end of their existence. So it's not like they didn't. They're on two extreme ends. But go ahead and say what you need to say.
I mean, they're on different ends of the spectrum, but at the same time, they was on the same page. They was like, "Hey, listen, if Dr. Umar and them was able to say, hey, Killer Mike, I mean, I agree with everything you saying, but we're all for the black community. So even though we're not saying the same things, we're still going for the same role instead of saying this is the only way to do it. That's the issue. Black people want to say we can only do it if it's not done this way, then it's not the only way. There's more than one way to skin a cat, and if we're going to skin a cat, we need to skin it on multiple fronts. And we all need to say, hey, I may not necessarily agree with everything that you say. Like all three of us, we don't all agree on everything, but we also agree that we want the black community to go further. And if we're all pushing it to go further, it's okay. We don't all have to have the same beliefs and general thing. But if the agenda is to push the black community, I'm not going to be mad about what you say as long as you're not sitting over here saying demeaning what I'm trying to do.
Okay, that's fair. Oh, go ahead, Will.
No. I'm like, go ahead. No, you're right. You're good. Go see what you say, my son.
Okay, so I understand that point, and I have no issues with that. So this is why when I said what I said in the beginning, and you was arguing it, you actually proving my point, which is now I'm making you show me what you have done. And now when I make you show me what you have done, now all of a sudden we have these excuses. Dr. Umar Johnson got how much money for a school that never been built? However, we have seen schools built between Jalen Rose, between LeBron James, and I'll even keep it on the local level. Even in New York, they have a program that they were doing schools way before Dr. Umar Johnson was doing it. Hell, I went to an all black private school here in South Carolina a long time ago, back in the 90s, from a guy that came from Trinidad. So when we see black people who use us in their budget, they use us.
If we're going to do it, we can do it, but we need to stop saying that we're doing it first.
Okay, I agree with that. But when I ask them to show me what you're doing, when I say, okay, I get that you bought a complex in your neighborhood, but that's a business move. I get that. I have no issues with that. I have no issues with what Nipsey Hussle did when he bought the shopping center. That's what you're supposed to do. But how is that uplifting the community? Now, when I ask you to show me what you're doing to uplift the community, you can't show me that. When I say Killer Mike, show me. Now all of a sudden it's like, when I asked Dr. Umar Johnson, show me, it's like, Brother Polite, show me. To the sheesh. And when I start asking you to show me your books, now all of a sudden I'm a hater or I'm against the black community, but that's what you're supposed to do when it's a business deal. When it's a business deal, Elon Musk did not buy Twitter. But then he came back and bought them because they had to show their books. But see, if it's a business deal, one of them, he made them show their books. If you make people show their books, there's nothing wrong with that. You're supposed to do that. That's business. And I think as black people, we need to start handling ourselves as business.
I got you saying.
Okay, but my thing is this. It runs a little different when you start running with nonprofits.
So
if Umar said,
okay, so let me ask you a question.
Like, I mean, Okay.
So do you feel these groups, these people you asked, you mentioned it, you should give them a time limit and then you audit them and then you determine whatever amounts of monies they get?
Correct. So let's say, for instance, let's take a group that says they're working with gang violence within the community, and
Right.
they get $100,000 grant. I
Okay.
understand they have an overhead. That's why when you say nonprofits are different, because in our business, that's the lie. Because nonprofits are business, they just get to claim everything and get to keep most of the money. So we need to really look at them more like businesses that get exemptions instead of just saying they're nonprofit. A nonprofit is a business with exemptions. So let's keep that real.
So what y'all say is there should be an overhead and it should be a small overhead.
No,
No.
it is
We
an
saying
overhead. What I'm
no. We
saying
say
is that their mission should, especially in our community, we need this. There's
you
no
should
way
be
on God's green earth we're still fighting crime in our community when we have
right.
20
So
groups for
so what are
crime.
you saying? So I got you saying. So for instance, say my group is to eliminate litter in the parks. They give me $10,000. So I'm saying. So now you should be able to go in and see what I spent the money on, not only just overhead, but what have I done and the results it has reflected on the parks itself. So in other
Exactly.
words, there should be little to no little, if any, litter in any parks with the money that you've given me for the next, say, 6 months.
Yes.
Okay.
There should be a change in the area in which you said your community group impacts. And if
Okay.
there's no change, then we have to ask that question. I shouldn't have the same violence, the same gang, drugs, activities in these areas. I shouldn't have these same communities talk about they're still behind technology wise when I'm giving these programs
Now,
money for computers for them.
but I got you. I got you. Certain instances I can understand.
You
Computers.
You're going in and out. You're going in and out.
So
But you also have to understand too, like this isn't just. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can
yeah,
hear you now.
Marshawn.
Yeah, we can hear you
Okay, so
now.
here's my issue with it. You also got to think about it. When you go into these low-level communities, what some of the money could be spent on actually putting computers in, you got to put on security. Because these ain't like these motherfuckers. You can just sit there and be like, I'm going to just lock the doors. You got to spend mad money on security. That's going to impact the money that you're actually getting to put into the actual facility.
Okay, I get that point. I know what you're saying, but then that goes back to the original thing. If I have 20 groups and these groups are supposed to be combating that, then why haven't it improved? So you're not showing, and then I'm not questioning you as a community person. I'm not questioning you
now
when you actually have literally, and this is why I said sometimes I've seen things. I've I've been in these rooms. People don't realize this. When these community groups go there, they count for you. They literally put you in their numbers. So when you say it's not about you are in somebody's portfolio right now. Not by name, but by address and everything. Your children and everything, and they're counting for you. And they go to them and say, okay, I know you're counting for me. I'm not stupid, dumb, or ignorant. What you doing?
I can see that.
I mean, okay. Then
Go ahead.
my question is this. I didn't want to say this. If we're America and we're all
Yo, you shot that screen right now.
Yo, man, you
You shot
Aquaman or
that
something? What
screen.
you got going on, man?
America be trying to make sure
You on that
that shit
lead.
isn't getting done.
He's underwater, man. What's up, man?
It'll move. No, but hear me out
Oh,
though. No, but hear me out though. If this is America and if we're American, we're playing this land of the free and
You breaking up.
yeah.
America, this shouldn't just be a black
Drake gonna steal this and have it on his next single.
Black person issue because there's no way, in my opinion, you're living in this country that small little. I'm going in and out. All right, let me get in the house.
Now.
Give me 1 second. I'm gonna let y'all talk. Let me get in the house. All right.
No, you have a good point, but I still feel that some things are tangible. Now, when you try to deal with the whole gang
Let me
thing,
get in the house.
well, go ahead and do your thing, man.
Let me get in the house real quick.
Okay.
We got you, man.
Okay, I'm gonna say my statement because I got a good statement and I got an argument to this.
Yeah, okay, we got you, man. What's your statement? So,
now, can you hear me now?
Yes, Verizon, we can hear you.
No, this ain't Verizon. Don't play with me. No, like America. Okay, if we're in the land of the great, in the land of the country, or whatever, this shouldn't just be a black issue. The government, like, honestly, if this stuff really wants to get done, this can't just be a minority, a subsection of America trying to handle this issue. This needs to be American handling this issue, and not just giving us handouts and not just giving us this bullshit. We need to actually put money in the lower areas to actually make these people successful. We can do as much as we can, but it's a lot different when maybe it's not. There's multiple issues. The reason why we're struggling, and this isn't just we need to pull ourselves up our bootstraps. Because clearly we're trying to do it and it ain't working. We need help. Like, let's be honest. The system is broken, and you're trying to do something with a system that's broken already. So you're trying to put a band-aid on something that needs to be fixed either way. So I get it. These leaders in these communities sound great, but at the end of the day, it don't matter if the system is broke itself. And like I just saw one of the freaking Supreme Court members said, I don't even know what the diversity is.
Thomas,
but we got an issue
Clarence
there.
Thomas. But he's right. What is diversity?
Oh my Jesus! Don't do that, my Sean. Don't do that. Don't.
No, seriously. Like, what is diversity?
Diversity is when you got people who live different lives and live different ways. Like, diversity is the way you live and the way I live. I'm on a diversity committee at my job, so I have to deal with this on a daily basis.
Of course you do, because it's a made-up term that they just put in place to make people feel comfortable.
It doesn't. It's not a comfortable feeling. It's not.
Oh, so now you understand why he said he doesn't understand it, because we don't have a clear definition of it. And that's the truth. But however,
go ahead, say what you said.
But however, getting back on the topic, it is an American issue, but we have to do what we have to do. Sometimes the problem is we do the wish thing. You know, when they say wish in one hand and crap in the other and see which one fills up, whereas black people, we've been filling up our hand with crap for so long that we accept crap. And we be wishing. That's why when I hear Killer Mike and they'll still talk about reparations, I'm like, okay, let me ask a question. Has anybody signed a petition for reparations to be added to the bill so they can actually pass it? Has anybody done anything for that? But that's just one section of that. If I look
we're not getting how you get that shit up. That shit dead.
No. But what I'm saying is that you say that the system's broken, but that's the perfect time to implement a new system if it's broken. As black people, we always say, "Oh, the system's holding us down." So if it's a broken system now we have a clear path to go through it. I think the problem is not that we're behind. I think the problem is we choose to stay behind.
The system is behind, and we choose to stay. I think it's a combination.
What system's behind? Because if we're black people, we don't subscribe to the system.
But the system subscribes to us.
But then if it's broken, then it doesn't subscribe to us anymore.
Mashawn, listen, I'm not trying to argue with you tonight, but you're gonna make me argue with you.
It's not an argument. What I'm saying is that we accept excuses. And one thing we have to understand is that, look, I get that we are behind the curve. I'm not stupid, dumb, or ignorant. That would be a fool for me to sit up here and say we're not behind the curve. The wage disparity, the financial disparity, the education disparity is real. However, we have added to that by holding ourselves back in certain areas. And what I'm saying is that we can start getting better when we start holding each other accountable. Accountability in the Black community does not go hand in hand, and that's one of the biggest issues. If it did, then a lot of people would start putting money in churches and start putting money back into their homes.
Damn, you got something against going to church?
No, I ain't got nothing against going to church. I got something against people sitting up in here robbing our community of resources. You brought up a point earlier, and this is why I said if we hold ourselves accountable, then other groups wouldn't be robbing us out of our money. Other groups wouldn't be setting up shops in our communities because we'll be too busy holding ourselves accountable where they won't be able to edge themselves in. How many African shops are in the Jewish community? How many African shops are in the Asian community? How many African shops are in the Latino communities?
They're not. I mean, why would they be there?
Why are they in our area? So let's not
Because
go
we'll
there.
spend the money. We'll spend the money.
So if we hold ourselves accountable, then we will be able to say, okay, where's our money going? If you say you're for this, you have 6 months to a year to prove that you're for this. If there's 10 people committing crimes, your job is to at least make sure 4 out of them don't commit crimes, and that's a success. But don't tell me you say 1 or none. Don't tell me we're still trying to be putting computers in communities that don't have computers. It's 2022. Motherfuckers walking around with a computer in their pocket. So how we still behind technology wise?
On the podcast. Yeah, I know.
So I think as Black people, we
don't
just
think
gotta
we're technologically behind. I just think we're not, as consumers. No, we're not technologically behind, but we're not involved as we should be when it comes to being a part of these new. Which we do have people in the field, but we don't have. We too busy. We're too busy at times being a part of these evolutionary breakthroughs as a part of putting our money towards these breakthroughs. Now we do, like I said, you think about it. We have been part of the greatest inventions, life-saving, life-changing in history. Everything from the seatbelt, stoplight, fire extinguisher, heart transplant, everything we can think of. Everything possible we can think of. And we just gotten away from that. We quit, especially within the last 20 to 30 years, we quit pushing our children to be the physicists, the scientists, even the mason.
It's easier and cheaper and more glamorous to put your money into being an AAU superstar than being a scientist. Let's be honest.
But I think like I think my Sean is saying overall is we keep waiting for somebody to allow us to be or give us the opportunity when we should be empowering ourselves to do it ourselves. And that's what I believe in too. Not put there to be empowered, to empower self as a community, as we the community, as you don't want to hear it.
Like I don't push my kids to play sports. I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't. Because at the end of the day, wicked hook shots mean shit.
But like I said, but I'm not even talking about. But we're pushing that narrative. That's the thing because even brought up in a conversation before. A lot of times, that's how we see our most selves and are identified more. We identify more likely as a success nowadays, especially in the last 20, 30 years, as opposed to somebody being what's my man Neil Tyson DeGrasse?
Yeah,
because it's easy to obtain. Because I mean, if you look at sports,
too busy. It's not easy to obtain. No, it's more glamorous. Nothing.
To be honest with you, it's a falsehood because really, if you think about it, we only excel in 2 sports, and we have a big 3: baseball. And baseball get paid crazy numbers. You got baseball, basketball, football, and the fact that we only try to push our kids to do 2 of the sports is ridiculous.
It's the fact that we push it as the only way out is ridiculous.
Because that's what society has pushed on us. Oh, you're a great athlete. It's easy to be famous in high school, especially when you're in high school. It's easy to be famous. Nobody nobody's on the upper crowd if they're a member of the debate club or the chess club. Nobody cares about that. But if you out here doing it, like think about this: when the last time you seen the greatest hits, the greatest? When the last time you seen highlighted the greatest debates on the news? No, you get basketball, you get football, you get basketball, and maybe
on
a
this
little bit of
channel,
baseball.
on this show.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. And we need to as God, I hate using this word. I really don't like y'all made me use this word. We need to stop saying that. I was talking to my brother about this. I said, we need to stop. We need to stop talking about, putting all this money in the sending our kids AAUs and all of these camps. I'm like, give your kids more than one option. Like, and I know a lot of people say, oh, you guys use education, but yeah, but like that, yeah, but like the education, but see, the whole thing about people saying is, oh, my son needs to get a good education too. I'm like, no, you're not. That's not the point. The point has nothing to do with education. But the point is, the education is just a backburner. It's just saying, hey, to be able to do this, you need to keep your grades up instead of saying, hey, if this doesn't work out, if you blow your knee out, if you blow your shoulder out, if you break your hand in the way you can't bend your hand no more, do you have a second passion? Because I mean, at this point, you don't know when a person burn out, whether their body burns out or their passion burns out. Because if you've been playing basketball for 600 years, who doesn't know when you start burning out? And now you don't have any other passion because that's what your parents thought you wanted to do. And you wanted to be a basketball superstar since you was in middle school, and you got to high school, like, maybe I don't want to do that. I think we need to start exploring other options. And that goes into trade schools, but I don't want to talk about that right now. And how the fact that universities are crushing trade schools left and right.
That's a whole nother theory.
That is. I didn't want to talk this hard tonight. Y'all made me talk real hard.
So, in other words, you actually agree with me because that all comes with accountability. When you have people,
I
when
don't
you
want to
hold
agree with you,
people,
but I don't want to agree with you, but
when you have
I
people
agree with you.
that accountability, and I think we on our next show we will talk about trade schools and colleges and things like that. But one thing I want people to understand, and this only in the Black community we do this, we separate the two. No other community separates the two.
Yeah.
We separate it.
No, I won't say that. I won't
No,
say
that
that.
is true. We separated. We're the ones. Oh, it has to be different, one or the other. When they both when they look at it as going to a school to better their opportunity. Even in other countries, as Will like to bring up, it's going to school to better your opportunity. We're the
Exactly.
ones that actually separated. Like it.
Right.
This was this.
Because you think about it, for Germany, they already have, like, say for instance, because the way they're set up all together is unique, but in a sense where you're in any of the countries, you're going to school for actually what you're going to be. You go to
Right.
school, you're set up to be. Hey, you want to be a doctor? You go to an elementary school like everybody else. You go to your middle school like everybody else. But as you start getting closer and older, you start going in direction of becoming a doctor. Not necessarily you always become a doctor. You always those people that get down and find something else. That's true. But in a sense, you're always setting in that line to become those things. And they take tests too. They take the aptitude tests to put them. Hey, are you? Wait a minute. Do you have aptitude to be these things that you want to be? Now when it comes to the whole sports thing, let's put that to the side. That's a whole.
Right.
We can talk all day. But like I said, they put you in line to be successful. But it's also on the individual to follow that line, to be that to find that success.
Right.
And then we, like you said, we separate. We don't separate. Like I said, we don't do that. Period. That's not just in America. Period. More or less the Black community, which we need to be doing more. So
Right.
we've gotten away from that because we say so much about the education system, the corruption,
We did.
all that,
We
but
did.
we say so much more about it. In our neighborhoods, whatever. It all plays into all those things play into the fact of what we are now.
I mean, let's be honest. When it comes down to sports and everything, and I hate to bring it back up, but let's be honest. We're looking at kids like they're meal tickets.
No, I mean that, but you're right, and I'm not holding that against you. And we spoke on that before. How,
Right.
especially if a child, if a male child is in a single parent home, that single mother is going to make sure that male child is everything but adopted.
Right.
Show them in every sport possible to see which one pans out. That's just what it is. Not
Right.
I hate to say that, but when you go back to having accountability, if you have these programs in place where these people are saying, no, we're in this to mentor these young men, to mentor these people, then that won't happen as much because you're showing, okay, yeah, this child only thought they could be a football player, but now this child is going off to school to be an engineer. So, or this child, instead of playing high school basketball, this child is in the early college program and going to graduate college or go graduate high school with a 2-year degree and a trade. You know, like I got a friend of mine. His daughter graduates this year. She's going to graduate high school with a 2-year degree in RN.
Right. Yeah.
So
There's a
these
lot of
programs are
programs.
out there, but
Right.
if I'm giving these programs money, saying that this is what you're supposed to be helping our community to do, and you're not doing it, then the problem lies in the accountability.
Right. And also it's not taking the opportunity, and some of us not taking advantage as well.
Yeah.
The
I
proper
agree.
way, the proper advantage of these programs. Because I
You're
want to
right.
say, because like you said, I do agree. Because I went to a graduation a few years ago for one of my soldiers, and she was graduating from the community college, but they also had a portion of the program of the program of the graduation ceremony where they had, like you said, high school students
Yep.
that were there collecting their degree. The matter of fact, they just either they're about to go to that, either they already had their graduation ceremony from high school, or their graduate high school was within the week of that ceremony. So, like you said, they're walking out the door with a diploma in one hand and their high school and their 2-year degree in the other hand. You know, and there were, like I said, there were some of us in that program, which is smart, but there should be more of us doing that. We should be doing more of that, encouraging us, because, like you said, like we all agree, you should have some kind of backup plan. Hey, you may not become a scientist, but hey, you know what? I realized I got the skills that I can be a plumber. You know,
Exactly.
so I mean, hey, I may not made it as a basketball player, but guess what? I know how to build a house with my hands. You know, I know what it takes to wire a house as
Which
an electrician.
I'm glad you brought that up because this is why I said, as Black people, we used to have the skills to build civilizations.
Right.
How built that civilizations are built off of certain things, and those are the skill sets that we are allowing to go through our hands instead of holding on to them. And that's why we always find ourselves having our hand out because we're not building these civilizations. The Asian community, when they came to America, they didn't come to America to integrate. They came to America to build a civilization, and they built the civilization. The Jewish community didn't come to integrate. They came to America to build a civilization, and they built one. The Hispanic community did not come to integrate. They came to America to build a civilization. That's what they have done. The only people that have really fell behind in that is us.
Yeah.
We stopped building a civilization.
Mm.
That's
Okay.
why if you look at the Asian community, you think they really care about politics? They don't give two craps about politics. They care about the money. The Jewish community, you think they care about politics? They care about the money because they know the money controls the politicians. Everybody's set up here, and I always tell people when you look at a politician, and I guess we'll start wrapping this up in a few. But when you look at a politician, you don't look at his words or her words. You look at the person that's backing them, and then you'll know how they'll vote when they get into that office. Whoever funded that person will always get what they needed done. People said Barack, all he cared about was the gay and lesbian community. Do you know that they were the biggest funders? Like they backed him. Black people love to be like, oh, we voted. That's only half the battle. Your money got to come up. And that's where we fall short at is because we're not accountable. We think that we just show up. No, you got to show up and go to work. God said, faith without work is dead. Black people are dead because we don't come with that work.
Mm.
And ladies and gentlemen, that was a sermon of my Sean Taylor.
I can't even argue that.
All right, so we'll start wrapping this up, man. So, what you got for us, the great one?
Hey, more to come, ladies and gentlemen. More to come. More great battles from us, the we, known as the Screw It.
We,
That
no,
was
you know what? I'm gonna change it. That's what we're gonna call ourselves, the we.
The we.
The
y'all
we.
trying to fight. Now you trying to fight me. You know I hate. Y'all know I hate that word. The worst word in the English language is we.
The we and us. The we and us.
The we plus I plus we.
The us and we equals they, them, others.
What
Yeah,
you
man,
got,
that's
the,
all, man. Stay tuned, huh?
what you got, the villain?
Black Adam movie was a great movie. Y'all need to get together.
This guy.
Fuck out of here.
Oh, by the way, I'm serious about this time, so next time we record, we'll bring it up. So,
No. I like that. I like that because I think one thing I tell people is you got enough room to play with when it comes to fictional characters. You could play with them a little bit. And I think that we forget that they're fictional because we grew up loving them so much in their current form. So I like the fact that you said, hey, who can we pull, and change them up a little bit. So I agree with that.
it has to make sense.
Yeah, it gotta make sense. You gotta make it make sense.
Oh,
Now, we're not trying to do. We make the math got a math, and we can't have stop sign of math going on in this piece. If you know what stop math is, then you know what I'm talking about. But and if you don't know, I would send you the link to Scott Siner's math, 33 and the third chance. We're not gonna talk about all of that. I just want to say I thank y'all. Thank y'all for having me. Y'all are a great blessing in my life. Y'all push my brain more than what I want, and I'm glad that we thinking. I'm glad we having these great debates. And I'm always gonna be against somebody in this bitch. I'm the villain.
All right, that's
You know what the crazy thing is? Always end up winning because the villain always agrees with us.
Sometimes. Y'all sometimes I get to your point.
Look,
At least I'm really up to admit when I'm like, okay, y'all have a point.
Oh, man. I'm good. Go ahead, Sean. Close it out.
It's okay. Like I said, one thing we like to say is we always could laugh, and that's the best part about anything is that you could leave the table laughing, knowing that you was educated, even though you may not subscribe to everything. You was educated, and that's the best thing, and that's what I love about this. So I appreciate y'all, brothers, and y'all have a wonderful evening, and we're out.
All right. Peace.